Welcome back. This is a continuation of our FFmpeg bash script series, and in this video we're going to go over overlays, specifically static overlays. We may cover video overlays in a future video, but these are using a standard image PNG file for this and overlaying it onto the video, similar to the way you're seeing overlays on the screen right now talking about FFmpeg. So let's go take a look at the scripts. And the two scripts that we've made the changing to is we've made this webcam overlay and this X11grab overlay. And these are some of the overlay files that I've created. And we'll talk about those in a little bit. So first, let's go take a look at that webcam overlay script. Yeah, I should probably change that comment out. But what's going on here is I'm using this webcam.main, which I've used with UDev, and if you'd like to see how I did that, I'll include the video in a pinned comment below. And the output screen rate, all that's the same. And we have this overlay variable, and it's pointing to the overlay.png. And I'm using it as a variable in case I want to change anything in the future. I can just change it here. But for right now, I'm copying the overlay into this overlay.png, making it like a temporary holding overlay. But that could always change. These scripts are very easy to change. Now with the input device here, I had to add this -f space v4l2. That is because since the device here of the /dev/webcam_main is a symbolic link, FFmpeg wasn't detecting what that device was, so I had to tell it that it was a v4l2 or video for Linux 2. I've also changed the audio card to show that I'm using this K38, which is my microphone, and that just alleviates having to guess which input it's on. And then after we add the video, we add the overlay, and we're just again using that overlay variable. And then we have to use the filter complex. It's basically taking A and B and overlaying B on top of A, and it's the way it's scaling. So let's take a look at the documentation. If we look here, the documentation here is not very so if we take a look at the documentation, it's showing using that same format that I just earlier, the B and A, and then the A and B. And this is another way you can use it, but take a look at the commands. It's just width and height, which we're not even adding those in. Those can be used over here. If you look further into some more documentation, you'll see that the two videos are provided, and let me highlight that for you. Two videos are highlighted, and the second input is unchanged, first scales. And again, this is using the filter complex. It's using the V1 and the 1V and the 0V, but that's if you're using multiple video and audio sites, similar to what we did with the X11grab with a intro video in the front. And there's other ways to do scaling, but this is the way we're doing it here. And once we get that done, everything's basically the same as before, but still using the FLV format for the output. The bit rate for the video is 3 megabits. The output frame rate is 30 frames per second, and the stream key. And this is the old audio format that I had to use, or I was using with the microphone, but you can't use the -AF and the filter complex the same. So the audio seems to be working without the filter on it, and I'm leaving it like that for now. Let's take a look at the script for the X11grab. And this is all the same. Then we have this overlay variable. Again, I've added the K38. You put the overlay. Now, originally, I forgot about this whole scaling thing because I originally made these scripts several weeks ago. So as long as the overlay file is proportional, it's 16 by 9, which think everything I'm using is 16:9. It will scale to the screen, so I don't need to add or need to save the files to the specific size, which I had forgotten about. And all that is the same. So let's go ahead and take a look at those files. So earlier today, I was doing the live stream, testing this all out, making sure everything was working, and it was working relatively well. Ran into a couple snags, but it worked out fine. So the file here, the overlay.png, is what I've used as that holder file, and I've just copied each of these, overwriting that overlay PNG. So the basic one I used is here, and as you can see, it has a transparent background. I added a subscribe, I've added a like, and these two watermarks in the corners are basically just to save size, because no matter what unless I save it as the document size, it's just easier to put these in the corner. And let's see if we can see the details on this. Image properties. And as you can see here, this is 1920 by 1080 or 1080p. And then I was doing some video editing on the live stream, which was interesting. And while I was doing that, I added this overlay. It just said editing progress. It was the same. I moved some things around, and I used the shortcut as a template to make sure nothing was really in the way of anything I was doing on screen. And let's take a look at this properties. And as you can see, this is 1366 by 768, which is the screen resolution of this computer. And I thought I had to save it that way, but again, if I would have just saved it as 1080p, as long as it was 16:9, it would have been fine. So there's still some more that we need to do. Like I mentioned, adding the video in, so I could have something where I'm working on something here and then have, say, the webcam showing in this corner. And that would be helpful for when I start working with the Raspberry Pi Pico again. I could be doing stuff where I'm changing something on with the code to make a light blink, to make the display show, and so I don't have to cut back and forth. I could do it as one continuous video. And let's go ahead and take a look at our notes, see what we've covered so far. This video was published a while ago, or last week, and the overlays are recorded. And then we have this UDev video that I did, and it sort of fits in with the FFMPEG, but it's kind of its own thing, so that's why I'm leaving it there. So now this leaves working with those FIFO pipes. What I think the next video I'm going to do is I'm going to start working with the C program, or start writing a program in C to run some of these functions of FFmpeg. And I'm going to start using possibly the pipes, or I may use a virtual V4L2 device, and also how to capture the V4L2. I've done some early designs on this RTMP file. I have not tested it. I've made the GUI, but I haven't used the GUI with the overlays yet, because I made this GUI earlier using GTX or GTK, I believe. And I think I figured out the V4L2, how to capture that. So those will give me the future videos. But you can go ahead and subscribe if you want to see that, and let me know what I should be working on, and tell me which way I should be going. Should I be making more scripts, or should I be focusing on making an executable with using C as a programming language, or something else using Python or another programming language? And then we can get these live streams to be a little bit more stable, because that is one of the issues, is that every time the script reloads, it doesn't always get caught by the YouTube Studio, and sometimes it hangs and it has to be reset. But that's it for this video. Thank you for watching. There'll be some videos on the screen and a link to this playlist, so you can click on that, and you have a great day.